So this is the first time that we went to NASA. Hopefully it's not the last. So again, thanks to NIHERST and NASA. So just to give you a brief idea of what's going on, is that at NASA there are many different centers all over the US. It's not just in one state or one building. And they all have different purposes and different research and different missions that they do. And so we're over here in California, very, very isolated from the other centers, and we're focusing on research. It's the Ames Research Centre. And so this is just a little picture, a small part of it. We have our own zip code at Ames there, and this is the wind tunnel. It's a huge wind tunnel. It goes from like here all the way down there, and that's what they're famous for actually. One of the things they're famous for. They have the largest wind tunnel in the world.
So a lot of people ask, like, oh, did you ride in, like, see a rocket ship or go inside a rocket ship? Well, Ames is focused on unmanned research, and so they tend to do like biological research or study of drones and things that are actually unmanned.
So there's like they lead the research in biology actually at Ames. So they have like two major centers for one exobiology and astrobiology, and other biology, and then nanotechnology, which is our floor. So our building, there were 4 floors, and three of the bottom floors were biology oriented, exobiology, and the top floor, which is Alyssa and were nanotechnology. So this is just a picture of what the map looks like. This is what they gave us at orientation. It's actually stuck up on all our labs because we get lost all the time. There are numbers in every building, and it's actually really confusing because they number it in the order that the building was built and not for any other reason. And so Ames is foremost a research center, but it's actually an airfield as well, and there's actually a military base that they don't use anymore. But you actually see like people, army people walking and marching. Yeah, marching every morning, and they wake you up. It's 6 a.m. So this is where we were, all the way down here. This is our building, building 547, and there's like baseball fields right there, so you get a view of stuff, and the highway right here. So you come in here every day, and then you take a bike, because we got a bike, free bike, and you ride all the way here for like 10 minutes, and you reach here. These are black gates. You can't see it, but they're black, and you can't enter unless you have an ID, a special ID to go in, and we had that. So we just walked a little bit into here, and this is our building, the very first building.
So to get access, they had to take our fingerprints and make sure that we were not criminals in any way at all. And then after 2 weeks of that process, they were then able to give us a badge that said no escort required. And then we didn't have to have someone escort us from the gate to our building or the bathroom everywhere. Yeah.
So it's actually really cool that I'm trying that because we're not in the blacklist of any countries that the US has. So there are actually some interns who were there and they did not get unescorted access. So they found themselves lucky. And we don't know if they'll ever get unescorted access. So this is our building, and then there's like, each building has their own purpose, and we'll probably get into that at some point. And this is the wind tunnel again that I showed you. This is just, it's huge and magnificent, but it's very small compared to everything else. So I think that's that. And that's the airfield, it's very big. So again, I was telling you, this is the lodge, and all the way there is where we worked. It was coincidence, I don't know that we worked in the same floor. And I also met Trinidad in there, just coincidence, he worked with me. And it turns out we're family. So, yeah. Okay. So, at NASA Ames, there's actually other stuff besides just the research center. So, there's like 2 universities, Singularity University and Carnegie Mellon has their own campus here as well. Singularity is like, there's like a lot of entrepreneurs there, and they learn how to apply science thinking and get interactions with us and other like-minded scientists to build their own companies.
So Singularity University is a startup incubator. So people with ideas, a company that they want to start or something that they want to be like next Tesla, they basically go to Singularity if they get in.
Yeah. There's like a golf course, which I didn't go to, swimming pool, I didn't go to, fitness center, we went to, volleyball courts, no, baseball fields, yes, first time we played baseball, ever. Then there's like outdoor stuff, and barbecue pits and the laundromat, which you have to use. Um, yeah. So this is just idea of what the lodge inside of it looked like. So this is my room. You get a fridge. It's really kind of nice, and microwave and stuff.
We had our own bathroom inside.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, everything is really nice there. There's a small chance you won't get into the lodge if you're not adamant about it. You have to be very quick on it to get accommodation here, because it goes really quickly. Because the thing about California is that it's very expensive, and if you go outside of this zip code, everything is extremely expensive. So you want to get in here as quick as possible. The cool thing is that we also had a cool intern coordinator in Trinidad, Daryl, but we also had a cool intern coordinator called Portia Parker at NASA, and she helped us out a lot, and she actually got this room to work. So what happened is that they put all the internationals, most of the internationals on one floor, and so we actually got to mix really well.
Most of our floor had people from Portugal, Australia,
Jordan,
and a few US people.
yeah. But predominantly our kitchen had like Portuguese. So the cool thing, this is my suitcase when I came. This is like essentials, you need to have it. Chips Ahoy, cornflakes, bottle of water.
And confirm I ate from his cornflakes.
Yeah. And chubby. You need to have a chubby. So this is just what the kitchen looks like. At some point it got really messy, and what they do, they threaten you to close the kitchen. But our kitchen didn't get messy. There's two buildings, building A and building B. Building B was better, which is our building. And building A, they actually got the kitchen closed down because they weren't good. So this is where all this cool stuff happens. You meet people and socialize. The hub.
I honestly feel like the kitchen was the main social scene as a resident of the lodge, because I got to speak to a lot of the other interns and learn about what they were researching, and it was really interesting.
So this is the cool bike we got. It has no gears and no brakes. So
pedal backwards to survive.
Yeah, to stop the bike, you have to pedal backwards, which I new experience. And Google had their own bikes. It looks nice and shiny. And what they do, they just leave the bikes lying around and anyone can take it. So we had to like sign a thing and take bikes. So these are our bikes, and if we lose it, we have to account for it. We didn't lose it. So when we at NASA, you see these things like a room completely filled with balloons, and then I think Alyssa was talking about urine. So what they do is that they do your analysis on urine, and so they actually have in the urine stalls, they have a sign that asks you to donate urine for one of your researchers. So they have like a container next to it, and you just go there instead of the regular place.
That was strictly in male restrooms, just to clarify.
I hope no. Okay. So it was quite fun in the lodge because you get all these cool, smart people, and they come up with these things. So now we'll get to the more cool stuff. So what they do for the interns during the summer, for the 10 weeks, so most of the interns come for a 10-week program. There's like 6 or 7 different programs, and NASA International Intern, I2, was one of the programs, and they had about 23 different internationals from different countries, and I were 2 of them. And we get to go to all these cool colloquiums and it's called a summer series, and every week they have 2, Tuesday and Thursday, and you get to go to them. So I only went to one of them on that day. It was the guy from SpaceX. He was talking about his rocket launch.
So Stanford ends 2 weeks later than other schools, and so I came really late, and so I wasn't able to go to most of them, but I went to the ones that had the astronauts, because the entire lab was required to go. It was really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, meeting an astronaut is cool. So this is just what it looks like, regular colloquium. We just listen to the guy talk. So you come for the lecture, and you stay for the food. Because it's free food. So over here you have astronaut and then the astronaut. This is Michael Barrett. He was up in the ISS recently, and I got to meet him. He looks like a wax figure, but that's because he knows how to pose properly. So
you guys heard about like the Kepler mission that happened, and it was successful. And so there was an entire party dedicated to celebrating the Kepler mission. And so we got free food, and there were these like blown-up sculptures of the planets that they discovered.
Yeah. So what the cool thing about NASA is that they encourage you to mix with other people, and as well as the people who actually work there. So there's actually events like this, like Capital Mission, there's like Happy Hour, and then there's like where you go to in the town nearby, it's called Castro Street, it's quite popular, and they meet early professionals, they call it early professional meeting. So you just go to like a restaurant, you talk to people, and this is the best way to interact and make the best connections ever. That's me, and Alyssa. So another cool thing about it being there is that they give you tours to other labs that you didn't get accepted to. So you are in your lab most of the time, but then you want to see what's going on. So this is the fluid mechanics lab. You have to like schedule these tours, and you can get in or you don't get in. So what they do here is that they have like miniature rocket ships like this big, and they have a current flowing through it, and they have dyes as well, and so they just model the flow of current or streamlines past it. So what you see here is turbulence in action, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And so, like I said, they do research in space applications as well as on Earth applications. So this fluid dynamics is of course applied to speed racing cars. So you see the flow after and before the car meets the airflow, or this is actually not air, it's water, but it's a fluid, so we use it. And over here they inject a small other color dye, which is orange, and they check to see how easy the air is getting in and getting out of the car. So you see it's slowly coming out, but not the same flow as that. And over here now, this is a miniature house. So there's like a chimney, and they inject the dye into there. And the purpose of that is because in impoverished areas where the houses are very small and not well ventilated and very close together, they found that people are getting sick inside the houses quite easily, and they're trying to figure out why. And it was airborne diseases, and they found that the airflow inside the house was not optimum. So they have to design the house better to allow air in and out of the house. So there's actually research, really cool research everywhere.
So we're really hoping to get to sit inside the wind tunnel, but I think you have to be a US citizen to get access to the tour. So we took that picture when we were walking by, and there were these the security guards, and they were like, "Have you guys signed up for the tour? Like, you guys should see it." And we were like, "No, we haven't signed up." And so we got to like go in and just take a picture, but we weren't actually allowed to be on the tour.
Like little kids from like primary school, they were like 10 years old, they got to go in. Yeah, almost preschool, they got to go in, but we didn't. But it was cool, we got to see some of it. We took a picture and ran away. And then this is just the outside of it. Again, it's really, really huge, and the pictures don't do it justice. It's actually really big. So it's 120 feet by 80 feet, the largest in the world. But there's something called ITAR, and all the wind tunnels are like owned by the Air Force or controlled by the Air Force, which is US government, and they're very strict about who they let in there, what goes on in there. So the purpose of these wind tunnels is to like actually pass through wind, so pass through wind over the aircraft, or like, so what they did in the previous slide, I showed you a miniature version, this is the actual real deal. They put huge amounts of wind into the turbines and pass it over the aircraft. And what they do, they use it on like semi-trucks as well, the big trucks that you see on the road, they do that, they pass the wind across these things too. So those are real world and on-world applications that you would be seeing. So this is just me posing. This is another wind tunnel. And this is a small jet aircraft, which is, you can't go in. Again, these are gates which they don't let us pass through. You can just admire. So another cool thing about the going there is that you get to present your work.
Okay, so when I got the best poster in my division, they called me second in power at Ames. And so I had to speak to her and tell her about the device that I made. And then, yeah, so she met Val as well.
So I was just there by association. Alyssa got the best poster, but I was standing next to her. So she came to talk to me.
Country, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just talked to her as well.
Yes, I had to like describe the details of the project, and like they tend to pick one poster within each division just so that she has an idea of like what's going on within each group, and so she's not completely separated from all the devices that we made during the summer, which is really nice. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Val had this ongoing joke with me that like they say there are no women in STEM, but you guys were very much present. So basically, these were really close friends that I made from other schools, and yeah, that girl is Julia, and she worked in my lab with me, and we got really close. And so, for example, she worked on a project that completely eradicated motion sickness for astronauts. Another one she coded like the path for a drone. Like these girls were insane. So any ladies in the audience, like you are represented in STEM, like continue to be represented in STEM.
I was outnumbered. So another cool thing about being an international intern is that our coordinator, Portia, she organized this thing called Cultural Night, which actually brings everyone even closer. And so we had to do a presentation about our country. And that presentation included a PowerPoint as well as making food. So I tried to make pulori.
I made fried plantain.
Yep. And it came out good, it finished. And then we also invited some others like in India, and she made chili. Tikka masala, yes. Paneer or tofu, tikka masala. And that was this one, it finished first, everyone went for that. And it's interesting what you see is that, I don't know if you guys have heard of like sweet rice, but the Portuguese also make the exact same dish. And I just thought that was interesting, that they made the exact same dish. What our cultures are similar. So this is their flag, and this is the Portuguese presenting, and I was taking a picture.
These were all international students, so we were representing Portugal, Australia, England, Trinidad, South Korea, or Jordan, yes. So
Lithuania. Yeah.
Lithuania.
Yeah. So there were about 6 Lithuanians, 6 Portuguese, 4 Jordanians, 2 Trinidadians plus 1, and 2 Australians, 1 South Korean. And this is just us after the poster presentation. So NASA does a lot of promotional stuff, and so for this Eclipse, which is the Great American Solar Eclipse, total solar eclipse, that passed last Monday, I think. They made a big deal of it. So what they did while we were there, before the eclipse even, like a month before the eclipse, they had this thing called the Eclipse Challenge, where each Ames Centre, like Glenn, JPL, Ames, they all had all the interns put on Eclipse glasses and take a cool photo. And
our center won because they thought it was really funny that our Jordanian friend, he was eating, and like they thought it was really creative. So we got a plaque. Was it a plaque or a trophy?
a plaque, yeah.
Our center got a plaque.
Presented by an astronaut.
Yes, and so because my internship started 2 weeks later, I was there for the eclipse, and so that's the photo that I got. They gave out free glasses to everyone, and so like there was a huge group of all these NASA scientists with glasses on watching the eclipse, and that was like an amazing moment.
I can't do that. So this is the first time I went to baseball. So what they do, they like to have social events, and so what they do, they have the baseball team for each building or each branch. So our branch was the Green Lemons, and you could play, you don't have to play. And we went against like other teams like Cyclones and stuff. They came up with their cool names. I don't know what Green Lemons was. We won some games, we lost more. And then another cool thing is that when you're at NASA, you get to do other cool stuff for free because they just let you do that. So like I went to kickboxing for free, and then they had wilderness training. So what happens is that when you're working at NASA and you're a scientist, you probably will go into very remote regions like Antarctica or in Mexico in like a cenote or a well, and you go deep down cave diving because you want to get these really cool microorganisms that you've never seen before. So you go really remote places, and if something bad happens, like you break a leg or you scratch yourself, you won't be able to call an ambulance immediately. So you have to know how to treat these things. So on every mission, when they go somewhere, there's at least 1 or 2 people who are prepared to do these things. So I saw it and I took advantage of it, and I took the course. It was like a 2.5-day course, so like all day you'd be doing stuff. And so they trained you how to do how to treat wounds, how to treat anything, probably almost anything that could possibly happen to you, except for bullets. Yeah. So
we went into San Francisco, and there was a Giants game. Go San Francisco Giants! And so we all went to the game together. We all interns in our lab, and it was really interesting to see how riled up everyone gets for these baseball games. It was our first actual baseball game at AT&T Park.
Yeah. So this train actually takes you almost anywhere you want to go. And if this doesn't take you, take a Uber. And Uber is actually quite cheap compared to other places. So you can go many places just traveling around. So that's what we did. So we traveled to San Francisco, and I don't know if you guys remember Full House. The house is there. The house is right there, and it looks just like it. Well, Golden Gate Bridge, stuff like that. So we actually met some really cool people, and we traveled a lot of places together. So this is my roommate, Thomas. He's Australian, and this is a bunch of others. So we went whale watching, and we went just traveling the coast on California, because you're not going to not go to the beach when you go to California.
That was a really fun weekend. We all had our team from the same floor of the lodge, and we went beach hopping and hiking, and then we went, what's the last thing? We went whale watching last, that's coming up. But it was really funny because we all had a role, like, Val is very good at keeping everyone upbeat and happy, so that was like his job. I was like the woman / navigator of the group. And then the Lithuanian, he was the driver. Like, we all had different roles on our trips, and it was really, really interesting to see the dynamics with these people from like Jordan, Australia, Trinidad, completely different backgrounds, all having like a passion for science and adventure, and it was really nice.
It was really cool, the inclusion that everyone had. No one felt left out. So we went to the beach. And the water is actually quite cool, such that you can't go in really, because it's freezing. But it looks nice. So that was us. So whale watching, which is, we saw like sea lions and stuff, and actual whales. So these were humpback whales?
Yes.
Yeah, so humpback whales just breaching and feeding for like hours. So the cool thing that I did, my birthday was at NASA. So there were some cool people that I met up and decided to go to Lake Tahoe, which is actually in another state. It actually is in both states, so like somewhere along the lake is the border, so you can swim in both. You can swim in 2 states at once. That was just a cool experience. The people at NASA, well, the interns at NASA were not as antisocial as I expected. They were actually very social, and they knew their stuff around the area.
I did not get into the Tesla tour because it was a lottery draw. And so I was in the lab while Val got to go to Tesla.
Yeah. So there was like one person from each country, like Trinidadian, Australian, Jordan, American, Portuguese, and Lithuanian. And other interns were there too, US citizens. So only about 25 people were able to go. It was pretty cool to see the Tesla factory because they showed how everything was built. And we couldn't take any pictures inside. They forbid us from doing it for intellectual property reasons. And just to point out, this is Portia Parker, the intern coordinator. Whoever goes next there, you get to see her, and she'll help you out a lot. So this is just me looking good in a Tesla car.
NASA is also very obsessed with Tesla in general, and SpaceX, because even though they're commercial endeavors, they all have a common goal of like discovering how we can optimize like travel in general, whether it be like interplanetary or on a regular scale.
So while Tesla and not Tesla, SpaceX and NASA are kind of competitors in the rocket race, they actually collaborate a lot. So I just wanted, it's that cool stuff you see at NASA, just random pictures of cars. A cool thing that you got to do is just walk around Silicon Valley. So we're in the heart of Silicon Valley. And so you get to go to Google, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. And well, of course you have to go to San Francisco. And you see the trams that travel to San Francisco because you really don't want to walk. The tram isn't moving, I just stood on it. But there's a city of hills and you get really tired really quickly, and that's what happened.
Okay, and this was our entire lab group. So this is my mentor, Jessica. And so we all planned to jump on 3, but they didn't understand that on 3 meant on 3, so they jumped after 3. So I'm just very like enthusiastically jumping into the air prematurely. So yeah, this is all of us. That's Amir, Val's cousin. So basically, we all worked on different aspects of nanotechnology. So some people worked on detecting different chemicals like in the heart to determine like premature cardio infarctions and stuff like that. So just very interesting to spend time with all of us, like working alongside each other but doing very different things, but with a similar scientific foundation as a base in the nanotech group.
What I like about our particular lab group is the diversity. Like you'd see a Trinidadian, a Mexican, American, Australian American, American, Chinese American, Indian American, Chinese American, Trinidadian, Portuguese and Trinidadian. So there were about more Trinidadians there. So this is our fourth floor, and it was really cool to meet these people. So in conclusion, NASA Ames. I can't talk about everywhere else. It was a really cool place to grow personally and academically. I think it was a really good experience. And if you ever have what I didn't like to hear was my friends from everywhere. When I asked them if you ever applied to NASA, they would be like, they think it's a far reach and it's not in their capabilities to do it. And I would say that I think it's very I can't say it's easy, it's intimidating, and you have to put a lot of work into it. But I think if you really desire to do it, you could probably you could reach there. And I would recommend the experience to anybody. No regrets.
I also feel like many young Trinidadians and just young scientists in general, especially women as well, we feel like we don't belong in these spaces, but I feel like we actually contribute a lot, and our Caribbean upbringing has provided us with a unique perspective to solving these problems, and that we are required and we do belong in these places. So don't feel like you can't also come to NASA and other NIHERST programs.
So before we leave, we have to do some promotion. So you have to, if you want to apply to the NASA NIHERST internship for next year, you can go on the website and everything is laid out really well. We did it and it wasn't that bad. It's actually a free application, you don't have to pay to do it, so just try it, see if you get in. And everything else is up to you from there.
You should also subscribe to NIHERST's newsletter, or like a new way that they constantly email you if they have new programs. So for example, in Form 6 I had done like the National Youth Science Camp, which is also done through NIHERST. So they have all these amazing programs at all levels that any of us could get involved in.
I think you went to CUS,
Oh yes, I did.
Yeah.
But that's also through NIHERST.
Yeah. So that's me and Alyssa over there. So before we introduce any questions, I have some disclaimers. No, we did not go to see Area 51.
No, we did not see any aliens.
And no, we didn't go to space. So
You want to see that there is an Area 51?
no, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I can't say. You have to go there to find out. Yeah, so I don't know. So we open the floor to questions. This is our information, our background, and our contact, our email addresses. If you ever want to reach out to us later.